Good morning, Man Hour Nation. Tuesday was a Cyber Attack Tuesday. Facebook went down, so we're going to redo a little bit of Overreaction Tuesday, but on a Wednesday. That's right, we're going to Overreaction Tuesday on a Wednesday, but it's a Tuesday. It is what it is. But we got to talk about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins rumors are running wild right now. What is going on with Kirk Cousins? Falcons, Steelers, it doesn't matter. Is he landing somewhere? Is he? But first. And now, Mike's thoughts. Guys, sometimes I don't know what to think of you guys. I don't know what to think of each and every one of you out there today. I consistently get called a clown. Whatever, it is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. Haters make you famous. I got the hoodie somewhere. I think it's hanging up over there in the closet. Haters make you famous. But Dak Prescott has come out and said that he is confident that the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott will be working at a deal. Will sign some type of an extension. And many people are upset about this potential situation. They are upset that Dak Prescott can't win the big game. They're upset that Dak Prescott is overrated. They're upset that Dak Prescott is not worth the money that he is given. But guys, I pulled up the stats here. Let me pull up the stats. I do think that Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback in this league. Hell, he might even be doing top 5, pushing that top 5 envelope. Last season, guys, last season alone, he was number 1 in passing yards. Sorry, he was number 3 in passing yards. The third most passing yards in 2023. He also had the highest QB rating, along with 36 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Oh, but he does that against bad teams. Let's see his record against winning teams. Let's see his record against this team, or his stats, right? So I pulled up the stats. Week number 1, New York Football Giants at New York Football Giants, 40-0. My man only had 143 yards passing. Oh, he's padding the stats against the bad teams. 143 yards passing against a very bad New York Football Giants team. Next week, they play the New York Football Jets. I remind you, the Jets had a winning record at the particular point. They were 1-0. But he did throw for 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interception. Went 31 for 38, 255 yards against a very, very good New York Jets defense. Many people thought that defense was going to carry them to the playoffs, even without Aaron Rodgers. And, of course, you play the Cardinals. And then, yes, we did have a bad game against the 49ers. 153 yards passing versus the 49ers. 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions. It's a very, very bad outing. But then we look at the teams like the Philadelphia Eagles. At the time, this is the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles team. They did lose this game, but he went 29 for 44, 374 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The list goes on. Week after Thanksgiving, playing the Seattle Seahawks team, a winning record Seattle Seahawks team, 299 yards, 29 for 41, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The following week versus the Philadelphia Eagles, 24 for 39, 271 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Buffalo Bills, he did have a bad game. 134 yards passing, 21 for 34, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Miami Dolphins, 20 for 32, 253, 2 touchdowns. The Detroit Lions, which they did win that game, 20-19, 26 for 38, 345 yards, 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. So guys, with all this crap saying that Dak Prescott pads his numbers against bad teams, whatever, Dak Prescott did it every game last season. Yes, he had 2-3 bad games. It happened to come against the 49ers and the Buffalo Bills when they were really needing those wins, right? Shit happens when you party naked. But simple fact of the matter, guys, is Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback. Dak Prescott is going to get a good payday. Dak Prescott is going to get a one hell of an extension with the Dallas Cowboys. An extension that is going to be very friendly to the Dallas Cowboys because Dak Prescott knows he needs players like CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons around him to really make the team work. Teamwork makes a dream work at the end of the day. But what you guys do not understand is Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback. Hell, I might even put him at top 5. Better than your Lamar Jackson, better than Tua, better than Matthew Stafford, better than Jared Goff, better than Kirk Cousins. It is what it is at the end of the day. Stop shitting on my man. Stop shitting on Dak Prescott. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, yeah. From the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? Let's go.
And good morning, Man Hour Nation. Michael Buckasher here with the Man Hour. Be sure to over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page or check out the blog section as well. NFLtoday.co is coming. It just get a little hung up on the HostGator side. I got about 30% of the transfer done, and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't want to work anymore. So we're having to basically manually transfer everything from the old server to the new server. So it is what it is at the end of the day. It does suck. Sorry guys that I've been hyping this up for a long time, and I'm really proud of it. I'm really excited about it, but you know, greatness takes time. But guys, if you haven't done so already, become a Pigskin Pundit. The link is down in the description below. Click on the link, become a Pigskin Pundit, get yourself some free merch. We're getting ready to roll out some April merch, some spring merch. We're getting ready to roll it out. And if you are a Pigskin Pundit, you get some free merch. We're probably going to do a little bit of baseball tee, like the 3/4 baseball team. I love me some of that, so we're going to send those out to all those Pigskin Pundits out there. Guys, this is a live interactive show. I do encourage the comments. I see all the comments. I got a nice little comment screen right there. And check it out, guys. But I encourage you to talk your shit. Bring your heat. We can have a healthy discussion, but be ready to defend yourself, because I will make you defend your thoughts. But we do got to welcome some people into the show here. We got some people jumping in the chat already this morning. We got my man Jim Powell jumping in the chat. He says, Jerry Jones said, let's play out this year and see what it looks like for my man Dak Prescott. It is in Jerry Jones' best interest right now to re-sign Dak Prescott right now, because he is hitting the cap was like $59 million or something crazy to that effect. He is hitting the cap very, very deeply right now. So if you want to get Micah Parsons' deal done, CeeDee Lamb's deal done, work Dak Prescott's deal now, make it very, very backloaded, maybe make it very signing heavy, signing bonus very, very, very healthy, and it is what it is. It is what it is. Jim says the Chargers look good on paper too. Doesn't make them a good in the W column. Listen, the Chargers have been riddled with injuries, riddled with terrible coaching situations, and just their owner doesn't like to spend money. So, yes, the Chargers do look great on paper. On paper, but Dak Prescott looks great on the field as well. So, we got that. We got that going for us. Wayne G is in the chat. Good morning, Wayne. He says numbers only. Goff is a top 3 quarterback in the last 2 seasons. Yes, Jared Goff is. When I said Dak Prescott was better than Jared Goff, I was probably speaking a little out of turn there. I think Jared Goff is a very underrated quarterback. I think Jared Goff can lead damn near almost any team to the playoffs that you put him on. He makes people around him better, and Jared Goff kind of got a bad rap when he was in LA with the Rams. He led them to the Super Bowl, kind of had a flaky next couple years or so, and then they're like, get out of town. He kind of got a bad rap. But yeah, Jared Goff is a very, very good quarterback. Wayne G says, need a new intro video. Lots of Combs, no Hoffy. True. I have been I've been planning out a new video in my head. But unfortunately, it's springtime. So we got soccer, we got baseball, we got football, two kids and a wife plus work. It is hard to, manage a lot of things. And Hoffy will not be back on till probably July, maybe August, because he is a high school baseball coach. So when we move to the afternoons, he will not be able to do it. So we're kind of doing what we do. And Jim says, IT guy my ass. Whatever, man. I'm a great IT boss. Just because you're a boss, it doesn't mean you have to be good at what you do, right? Have you ever heard the old saying, those who do, those who can't teach, or something like that? Basically, I tell people what to do. I tell people, this is what I want done. Make it happen. I don't care how you make it happen. Make it happen. James Shaver's in the chat as well. What is up, James? Good morning to you, grand sir. And he says, I can see Dak in the top 3 as a quarterback. Listen, I wouldn't go that far as put him as top 3, but top 5 is not a reach. Well, let's just be honest. Top 5 is probably not a reach. Obviously, number 1, this is all going strictly off the top of my head. But number 1, I would put Patrick Mahomes. I think he is going to be the best quarterback going into 2024. This is all projected into 2024. Who do I think will have the best season? I think Patrick Mahomes will be up there. I think Josh Allen is going to have a huge bounce back season. He is loving himself in Buffalo right now, really feeling himself. The last 9 weeks of that season really propelled the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. And then you probably got to put Jared Goff at number 3, like was it Wayne that said that? I think Jared Goff is a top 3 quarterback. And then 4, 5, and 6 is all kind of a toss-up. Do you put Kirk Cousins there? Do you put Matthew Stafford there? Do you put Dak Prescott there? Hell, do you slide Tua up there? I could see Dak Prescott has a very good conversation piece to get him into the top 3 situation. He has a very good chance that, he is a top 3 quarterback because of this, and this. And I definitely agree with you, James. I feel I could see him in there. I would not challenge somebody that would put him in the top 3, but I could see the reserves of why people wouldn't put him in the top 3 as well. Way to waffle around that answer there, Buck, right? Way to waffle around that answer here, guys. But, guys, we do got a great show for you lined up today. We are going to do our Overreaction Tuesday here on a Wednesday because right about this time yesterday, the Chinese decided to hack Instagram, AT&T, and Facebook. They shut us down. So I was sitting there having a grand old conversation. My screen turns red, saying I lost a little bit of this. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I gotta know where we left off, but we are going to do an Overreaction Tuesday here on a Wednesday. But the first thing that I want to talk about, guys, the first thing I would like to discuss today is Kirk Cousins. The first thing that I want to talk about is the rumors surrounding Kirk Cousins. As you guys know, last season, Kirk Cousins did suffer that Achilles injury. It seemed like everybody and their dog, if you were starting quarterback last season, an injury bug was coming after you, and it did get Kirk Cousins with that Achilles injury. He is 36 years old when he starts the season, but Coach Kevin O'Connell and Kirk Cousins both have expressed mutual interest of staying in Minnesota. Ever since the combine, however, there have been rumors circulating that Kirk Cousins will no longer be a Minnesota Viking. They're going to cut ties with him. They're going to let him walk in free agency. They're not even going to try to trade him. They're just going to get out of town. So, guys, I gotta start to question about Kirk Cousins ability to perform after this Achilles injury, because he has had instant success with Kevin O'Connell coming in as head coach. With that offense that they run, Kirk Cousins and Kevin O'Connell were a match made in heaven. Kirk Cousins has been a top 5 quarterback ever since Kevin O'Connell came and started coaching that team. With that being said, I think Kirk Cousins has been highly underrated his whole career. Even his time in Washington, he's been putting up all these grand numbers, and he does not get much love. He put MVP numbers year after year after year. So when we start to hear about the Kirk Cousins rumors that are floating around, I got to thinking, what teams could Kirk Cousins possibly land on? What teams could Kirk Cousins possibly be, you know what, that makes sense? Obviously, the first one that comes to mind were the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons have a nice young nucleus. Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, all top 10 picks over the last 3 seasons. A new head coach, new offensive coordinator, a defense that is sneakily pretty good, a NFC South that is wide open. You bring in a plug-and-play quarterback like Kirk Cousins to the moon, baby. But, do you jeopardize the young nucleus by bringing in a old head like Kirk Cousins that'll be 36 years old at the start of this season? Do you bring in Kirk Cousins and kind of maybe fracture that locker room a little bit? Because Kirk Cousins is probably, let's just be honest, Kirk Cousins is probably only going to play for a couple more years. Tom Brady was an anomaly, guys. Playing to 44, 45 years old or whatever he did, that was absolutely crazy. Most players, especially quarterbacks, 38 it's about the number. That gives you Kirk Cousins 2 seasons. So I don't really like it. I could see it. I could understand why the people out there want it to happen, but I don't see it happening. Then I got to thinking about the Denver Broncos. Obviously, their quarterback situation is way up in the air. They cut Russ, or going to cut Russ once the league year starts. Was that March 13th? So we got about a week. They do have a quarterback in Jarrett Stidham. Not sold on him, whatsoever. Broncos do have a fairly high draft pick. They could draft a quarterback, but Kirk Cousins to the Denver Broncos makes sense as well, right? What makes Kirk Cousins such an attractable piece is that he is literally a plug-and-play quarterback. He can go to any team, and he is probably going to have instant success there. He is just that type of person. Denver Broncos got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, right? Their defense isn't half bad. They do have a coach in the name of Sean Payton. Was Sean Payton carried by Drew Brees all those years, or Sean Payton just sucks? I don't know. To be determined. Kirk Cousins to the Denver Broncos makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. But what do the Denver Broncos do with their draft picks then? Do they draft a quarterback? Let him sit behind Kirk Cousins? Do they trade back? Get some more capital for the following years? Bring in like a Michael Penix Jr. or like a Bo Nix or somebody? Let him sit behind Kirk Cousins for a year or two? Patrick Mahomes effect? I don't know. Then you got Wayne G's Patriots. Is Mac Jones the answer? Is Mac Jones the future with OJ Mayo and the rest of that crew? The Patriots do have Kendrick Bourne coming back off of his injury. They do have a solid running back in Stevens. Their defense is pretty stout. Offensive line is terrible. Kirk Cousins to the Patriots makes sense, but I don't like it. You know what makes the perfect sense to me? Kirk Cousins going back to Washington. Kirk Cousins going back to the Washington Commanders makes perfect sense to me. The Commanders are in a really good situation. They have a really high draft pick. They can draft some receiver help. They can draft some offensive line help. They can trade back, get some more offensive line help. Their defense is pretty decent. They got some scary Terry back there as wide receiver. You draft maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. Bada bingo, you got a 1-2 punch with Kirk Cousins. Guys, where do you think Kirk Cousins is going to land? I feel there are about 4 or 5 possibilities that make perfect sense. The Falcons, the Broncos, the Patriots, the Commanders, or stay put in Minnesota makes the most sense. But where do you guys think he goes? Do you think Kirk Cousins gets traded to any of those teams or plays in the NFL, or he's just retired? James says the most overlooked quarterback going in 2024 is C.J. Stroud. I don't think we're overlooking C.J. Stroud. I don't think anybody's overlooking C.J. Stroud anymore. Carson says, little early. What's up, Carson Lane? Good morning, by the way. Those chops are looking mighty fine, by the way, dude. Carson says maybe a little early, but C.J. Stroud could be a top 3 quarterback with behind Mahomes and Allen and over Dak. This is a big year for C.J. Stroud. I think it's a big year for C.J. Stroud. Jim says Kirk should go to Pittsburgh. That's where Herbert will go. So Jim thinks Kirk Cousins is a perfect fit in Pittsburgh. Stutter those words up a little bit. But he thinks Justin Herbert is going to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if the more I look at the LA Chargers like front office and what they're doing and who they're franchising tagging and who they're releasing, I don't think they have a direction. I'm going to be flat honest. I don't think Harbaugh and the Chargers and whoever the new general manager is, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, I don't think they have a solid direction of where they're going to go. I think they're just putting feelers out there, and if something feels right, they're going to go with the flow. If somebody offers you a first-round pick for Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack or Keenan Allen or Mike Williams, I think they're going to be all in with Justin Herbert. If somebody offers a first-round pick for Justin Herbert and a couple of seconds and a third and a player, I think they're going to be all in on a rookie. Like, I don't know if the Chargers have a direction, to be honest. Wayne G says, wherever he goes, Kirk Cousins is going to be a bridge quarterback for a team that drafts a quarterback, such as the Patriots, Raiders, or the Commanders. I think you're exactly right. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be the Alex Smith effect. You are going to bring in Kirk Cousins and say, hey, you are here for 2 years. We're signing you a 2-year, $30 million deal, whatever it is, $50 million deal, whatever it is. Your job is to not suck. Your job is to make us a competitive team, but your real job is to mentor Michael Penix Jr. Your real job is to mentor the kid from Florida State. What is his name? Slipping my mind. What is his name? I can't think of his name. Your job is to mentor the quarterback from Tennessee. That is your job. Make them Patrick Mahomes. Teach them how to be a professional. Teach them how to put on the little thing on your head and do your brain exercises that we saw on the quarterback Netflix thing. Kirk Cousins is definitely a bridge quarterback. I don't think there's any stretch of the imagination of that. I think he has 2 years left in him, maybe 3, and he definitely is a bridge. You are exactly right, Rain. Like, spot on. Cousin doesn't make sense to Denver because of what his contract will be. Are the Denver Broncos over the salary cap right now? I'm legitimately asking that because I do not know the answer. Because if they are over the salary cap, obviously they cannot bring in a player like Kirk Cousins. He's probably going to want $30 million, right? 2 years, $50 million, 2 years, $60 million, some type of 2-year deal. Now, they can make it a kicker where everything is signing bonus, everything is incentive-based, right? Hey, you play 17 games, you get this money, whatever. Like, that's the way a lot of these teams work around the salary cap with these massive contracts. It is all incentive-based. So, Wayne G, do you think Jarrett Stidham is the future in Denver? Or are they strictly just going to draft a quarterback, throw them into the Wolves? Granted, last season was the last time ever that Sean Payton started a rookie quarterback. So maybe he's turning over a new leaf. James says, I don't want to see them get better, but Cousins going to New England makes the most sense. Let me ask you this question. James, I believe you are a Miami Dolphins fan, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a Buffalo Bills fan. But we've seen the effects of Aaron Rodgers going to New York to want to mentor Zach Wilson. Granted, the mentoring did not really fruition because, he was obviously injured, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Zach Wilson still played last season, but he showed a lot of growth throughout the season. Does putting Kirk Cousins on the New England Patriots, keeping Mac Jones, saying, hey, take a step back, man. Step back from the fire. Let your body cool down a little bit. Let Kirk Cousins take the heat for a little bit. Let Kirk Cousins be your daddy, and then we'll proceed. Does that make sense? Mac Jones is entering his fourth year of his deal. Was he your first round quarterback? I think he was a first round quarterback. So maybe just maybe. That the Patriots are smart. They bring in Kirk Cousins, let Mac Jones take a step back, sign a 2-year extension, 1 year extension, kind of like a prove it deal, kind of like what the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love did with Aaron Rodgers there, his final year. Like, hey, we know you're 4 years in. Next year's your fifth year. Here's a 2-year extension to see what you can do. Prove it to us. That makes sense. New head coach, new quarterback, new offensive coordinator. I like it. Drew's in the chat. Drew's the pigskin pundit. What's up, Drew? He says Cousins is going to Atlanta. This is the problem that I have with Falcons right now. It seemed to be that they were all in with Justin Fields. I even heard somewhere where they offered like a first-round pick for Justin Fields. Maybe it was like a second-round pick. I can't remember. But they submitted an offer to get Justin Fields to Atlanta. Obviously, we have not heard anything since that offer has been submitted. I don't know if it was rejected. I don't know if it was just a total, the sports trolls out there. There's a lot of them out there. People are just trying to get clicks and stuff like that. But now all of a sudden they're all in on Kirk Cousins. They still have Desmond Ridder on the roster. Like, if you were Desmond Ridder right now, I would be 2 feet out the door for Atlanta. He could be like, yes, I had a bad last season. Yes, I did take over as a rookie over Marcus Mariota halfway through the season. I get it. But there's a reason why we have a new head coach. But there's a reason why we have a new offense of a coordinator. But there's a reason why we have a new GM. Why are the Falcons not like all in on Desmond Ridder? You drafted him, right? I mean, of course, the coaching and GM didn't draft him, but the ownership drafted him. Do the Falcons just think Desmond Ridder is not it? I think Desmond Ridder has a little bit of it factor in him. It just needs to be shown a little bit. Drew also says this will allow Wilson to go to Minnesota. Russell Wilson to Minnesota Vikings. I don't like it. I don't know. Drew also says Cousins' wife's family lives in Atlanta. He's already been looking for homes and schools there. Just because you're looking for a home and schools in the area doesn't mean you're not planning for your future. The man's 36 years old. I'm 36 years old. I am looking at houses in Kansas. I would love to move back to Kansas. I'm looking for houses in Minnesota, or not Minnesota, but Montana and like Idaho area. Looking for jobs over there in that area as well. That doesn't mean I'm going there. You can test the market. You can see what something has to offer. When I'm looking at houses in our area, I'm looking at the schools because I have 2 school-age kids that are going to probably be pretty damn good athletes. What's your sports program look like? I don't care about schooling. What kind of NIL deal are you going to give us, right? Denver will draft J.J. McCarthy, says Wayne G., and he starts week 1 for them. You guys think J.J. McCarthy's a top 10 draft pick? That would make sense. I like it. Denver won't matter for a while, kind of like the Patriots after Brady. Sean Payton doesn't have his Drew Brees. But, Jim, Sean Payton can draft his Drew Brees, just like Wayne G said, J.J. McCarthy. Sean Payton can draft his guy this season. I think they're sitting at 8th or 9th. They're in the top 10. They have an opportunity to get their guy. I don't know. Baby Bo's in there crying. Bo is not happy. Bo is my nephew. James says, no, you get rid of Jones, sign Kirk Cousins, and draft Daniels from LSU. Listen, I think Jaden Daniels is a day 1 starter. After listening to Jaden Daniels at the Combine, I fell in love with this guy in a non-sexual way. The way Jaden Daniels presented himself to the media when they asked, well, why aren't you throwing? It's because I want to have a pro day down at LSU and I want to help my teammates. I want to put more eyes on my teammates. If that doesn't scream professional right there, I don't know what does. Jaden Daniels is a day 1 starter. Day 1 starter. And James says he's a Dolphins fan, by the way. Screw the Buffalo Bills. And Wayne G says, I don't like the Patriots taking the quarterback in round 1. They take Joe Alt at 3 and then Radler or Penix at 34. Early 2nd round pick. Now, I've been following Spencer Rattler's career kind of from afar since the was it the QB1 series, and I never really liked Spencer Rattler. I didn't like the way he played. I didn't like the way he jumped from like 4 college teams because he went to like Ohio State and then somewhere in like Arizona, and then he ended up as a South Carolina. He was afraid to compete. It seemed like he wanted to go somewhere where he was going to be handed the job. And I could be totally wrong. I could just be throwing spaghetti at a wall and hoping something sticks here. But I don't think Spencer Rattler wants to compete. I don't think he has that competitive hard work. No. Let me take a few steps back. He obviously has a competitive nature about him, but he doesn't have that competitive competing nature in it, right? He doesn't want to compete for a job. He doesn't want to compete to be recognized. I don't think Spencer Rattler has the it factor it takes to be in the NFL. Obviously, he has all the talent in the world. Hell of a lot more talent than me, you, or anybody else probably listening to this show. Hell of a lot more talent. But everybody in the NFL, draft, mock drafts, whatever, has the talent to be in the NFL. There are certain aspects that set people apart. There are certain aspects in this world that people either have it or they don't have it, right? And I don't think Spencer Rattler doesn't have it. He has talent. He has the intangibles. I don't think he has a correct mindset on his shoulders to be a successful NFL quarterback. Jim says, excuse me as I jump over in the chat here. Jim says JJ won't make it to the horses. Raiders are trading up to get a little bit of JJ. Raiders like AOC. The Raiders love them some AOC, Jim. For whatever reason, the Raiders love them some AOC. It is what it is at the end of the day. But let's go ahead and move on, guys, to the title segment of today's show. It's Overreaction Tuesday here on a Wednesday. And we talked a little bit about Russell Wilson yesterday, so we're not going to dive too much more into that. But the first overreaction of the day that I want to talk about is the Miami Dolphins informed Christian Wilkins that he will not be tagged this offseason. Obviously, the franchise tagging season is now officially over. Everybody had to be tagged at 4 p.m. East Coast time yesterday. So if you guys want a complete list of the tags, head over to manhourradio.com, and there's a blog of all 100 and some odd tags that happen across the NFL landscape. Christian Wilkins was not one of them. He will be allowed to test the free agent market and see where he lands. Wilkins is a defensive tackle from the University of Clemson, entering his 6th season into the NFL. Last season, he did record 65 tackles and 9 sacks last season, and he was definitely the heart and soul of that defense. He is projected per statcode.com to make around $20 million a season once he does sign a deal. Chris Jones is expected, just to give some measuring sticks here, Chris Jones is expected to make around $25 million in the upcoming season. So we got to be thinking here a little bit, and on this Overreaction Tuesday here on a Wednesday, is it an overreaction that Christian Wilkins will set the defensive tackle market this season? When we look at the landscape across the NFL, there are a lot of defensive tackles and rushers, defensive ends that are up for free agency, right? Christian Wilkins, Danielle Hunter, Chris Jones. You have Chase Young. You have Eric Armstead as well. There's a lot of big names out there. And if a player like Christian Wilkins that's projected to get around $20 million a season, with the $30 million extra in salary cap space this season, there's going to probably be a team that's going to take a flyer on him and is going to eventually overpay him. So is it an overreaction that Wilkins will set the defensive tackle market this offseason? It is not an overreaction. It is not an overreaction one bit, because there's going to be a team out there such as the Commanders, such as the Cardinals, such as maybe the Seahawks. They're cutting some fat, trimming some fat. That is going to give this guy $23, $24, $25 million a season. They're going to throw the woodshed at him and buy him a dog. And when this happens, players like Danielle Hunter, players like Chris Jones, players like Chase Young are going to see this, and they're going to be like, damn, that man got $5 million over asking price. Let me ask for $5 million more. Let me ask for $10 million more. Let me ask for some more guaranteed money. Christian Wilkins, guys, is going to set the market this season. That is not an overreaction one bit whatsoever. Now, on this next overreaction, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Joe Burrow, obviously, last season went down with a wrist injury. Missed the final 9 games of the season. However, he is expected to be cleared by mid-May and be 100% for training camp this offseason. Like I said, Joe Burrow did have wrist surgery last season that ended his season early. However, the failures of the Cincinnati Bengals did not come from the offensive side of the ball. Jake Browning did come up and really perform last season. Their defense was lackluster at best. So, guys, is it an overreaction or is it an underreaction that If Joe Burrow struggles, he will be benched for Jake Browning in 2024. Jake Browning, guys, played 9 games last season. In those 9 games, he had a 70% completion percentage, threw for just under 2,000 yards to 12 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. He was keeping the Bengals in the playoff hunt. Granted, the last couple games of the season, they were out kind of throw away games, so it is what it is. Jake Browning stepped up and proved that he could be a very, very valuable aspect to the Bengals or any other organization in the team as a backup quarterback, potentially a starting quarterback. So, if Joe Burrow does struggle in 2024, look sloppy, just throwing bad interceptions, nothing's clicking around him, is it an overreaction that he will be benched? That is an overreaction. Joe Burrow is not getting benched. No way, no how, and barring injury, Joe Burrow is not getting benched for the Cincinnati Bengals. This man is owed $65 million this season. He got a $55 million signing bonus and and then he has a $10 million base salary this season, totaling up for $65 million. I believe it was Taylor Heineke said it best a couple seasons ago when the Commanders brought in Carson Wentz. He said, and I quote, "They're paying me $1 million. They're paying Carson Wentz $10 million. You cannot have the highest paid player on the team sitting on the bench. Just not going to work." So I don't care if Joe Burrow throws 15 interceptions in a row, 6 of them for pick sixes. You are not sitting $65 million on the bench. That is a highly, highly overreaction. No way is that going to happen. No way, no how does Joe Burrow get benched. Let's see what's going on over here in the chat here. Get that off of there. Bada bing, bada boom. XD Gamers in the chat says, "Hey, what's up from school?" What's up, XD Gamer? XD Gamer, how do you feel about Josh Allen being franchise tagged by your Jacksonville Jaguars? I'd be curious what you think about that. James says Wilkins isn't leaving Miami. I don't think Wilkins really has a choice. The Miami Dolphins, salary cap is not looking too friendly, my man. They are not looking too friendly over there. They're, they were even entertaining the idea of trading / releasing Jalen Waddle to get underneath the cap. And Tyreek Hill's like, "Oh, if you're going to trade him, you better just trade me too." I don't know. Drew says they benched Wilson and he's paid how much? There's a difference there. There is a difference there between the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, and Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor, and the Cincinnati Bengals. There's 2 totally different dynamics there. Sean Payton, from the get-go, Drew, hated Russell Wilson. For whatever reason, from the get-go, Sean Payton and Russell Wilson were like this. They were button heads. They're like Brandon Combs every Tuesday morning right before work. If you know, you know. Sean Payton did not like the Team 3 aspect. Sean Payton did not like the guaranteed money that Russell Wilson had. Sean Payton did not like the parking space. Sean Payton didn't like that he had his own office. From the get-go, Sean Payton hated Russ. Joe Burrow is loved by Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is loved by Zach Taylor. It is what it is. Jump over to the chat here. John's XT Gamer says, "I'm happy for Josh Allen, but Bulky screwed up and we shouldn't have had Ridley on the franchise tag and Josh Allen in a contract extension, and we didn't get rid of Rashad Jenkins and D. Williams." Happens, man. Drew also says 26 touchdowns to eight interceptions, and he was benched. If you look at the grievance, Drew, that Russell Wilson signed or filed with the Players Association, it was all about money. Russell Wilson got benched because if he were to get hurt, they would have owed him $21 million more on top of the $89 million that he already owes them. It was a financial decision. It was to pad the books for next season. It was Sean Payton and John Elway and whoever the general manager is. It was their way of saying, hey, yes, we're going to be $89 million dead cap hit. Yes, we're going to get it knocked in the face for many, many years with this. But let's say it was $21 million. That is what that is what it ultimately came down to. Let me save $21 million here. It is what it is. Carson said Wilson was a joke of a trade to begin with. The Seahawks brass should be in jail for that robbery of the Broncos. Yes. What did the so what when that trade happened back in 2022, the Seahawks got two first round picks, 3 other picks, Drew Lock and Noah Fant in the deal, and I think they also got a offensive lineman. All for Russell Wilson and one other receiver that was been cut by the Broncos. It was not the Broncos were going all in on somebody that was kind of unproven, right? Wasn't it like 2 games into the season, maybe 3 games into the season? They're like, hey, Russ, would you like a $245 million guaranteed contract? Russ going to say no? Like, come on. Wasn't it at the point where, like, in his first season, Russ had more bathrooms in his house than touchdown passes at the first, like, 12 games of the season or something? It was just something absurd. Seahawks did get a very, very good deal on that. But, guys, that is going to be it for today's show. Tomorrow's show is kind of up in the air. I do have to go into work a little bit early. So if we do a show, it's going to be man hour on the road more than likely, because at this time I'll be heading to Louisville. Bada bing, bada boom. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I've got to talk to the old boss man today. We'll see what's going on. But, guys, thank you for joining us here as always. This is live, raw, uncut. Thanks for all the interactions. I do see every comment. Drew's like, you work? Yeah, I work, man. I work 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day, plus this and all this other stuff. I burn candles on both sides and sometimes play in the middle just because. It is what it is. But, guys, ELE, everybody love everybody. Become a Pigskin Pundit. Merch to be sitting out. New merch will be sitting out to all those Pigskin Pundits at the beginning of April. We're doing a little bit of baseball tees, some 3/4 sleeves with some man-hour stuff on it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, same time, same place. If not, Friday, 10 a.m. East Coast time. We live, raw, and uncut, and always, Man Hour Nation. Rise up.